here is singer-songwriter, broadcaster, audio-video artist, entertainment agent, and your host for the Dharmic Evolution. It's the master storyteller himself, James Kevin O'Connor.
And welcome back once again to the Dharmic Evolution, everybody. Great to have you guys here with me again. So excited. I woke up today and lo and behold, I checked the stats and we're number one in Singapore in iTunes once again. However, once again, not just for music. Captivating all genres and categories, Dharmic Evolution is number one in everything, beating out even TED Talks. And also, well, I said Singapore, we're number one for music, but also we're at number one in Japan for music and iTunes. We're number one in music for Sweden. And we're number one in the good old USA. And we're number 8 in Germany and so forth. There's a lot of other really great listings. I won't go into it, but thank you, indie music lovers and supporters worldwide. So I got a really rockin' show for you today. We're going south to Nashville. So this artist, he was born in San Antonio, Texas. He grew up soaking in the sounds of Texas music in the dance halls of the Lone Star State. He's always been a big fan of music, but it wasn't until his high school years that he discovered his knack for it. Driven by his passion, he taught himself to play guitar and began to write and perform music. Over the past decade, he's played all over the U.S. and in Europe, including numerous venues in Texas. Pulling from the example of Texas performance artists, he loves to interact with his audience. He captivates the crowd with his genuine personality, unique humor, and heartfelt love of his occupation. So you better strap up your seatbelts because we're taking a ride with Jeremy Parsons.
Are you a singer-songwriter, author, speaker, or thought leader? Have you been looking for a platform for your career? Well, the James O'Connor Agency has exactly what you are looking for. Find out how we write and produce big, amazing songs on Music Row for authors, speakers, thought leaders, and organizations like nonprofit and corporations. We also help singer-songwriters and artists by giving them a platform on Dharmic Evolution, a podcast designed specifically to broadcast your global career, now in 71 countries and with more than 161 episodes of artists all over the world from all genres. We know how to reach your target audience. Are you a dreamer like James? Then reach out today to James at thejamesoconnораgency.com and find out how we can help your global career.
Jeremy, welcome to the Dharmic Evolution.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, tell us first off, you're from Texas, so are you in Nashville right now, or are you in Texas, or where are you in the country?
I am considered a local Nashvilleian as of these days, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's good to be here and be accepted. It's being from Texas, you have the choice of either Austin or Nashville, I feel like, and Nashville just felt like the right choice for me.
It's so funny you say that because my son is also a singer-songwriter, as I am, that many people know, and he moved to Austin almost a year ago to the day. And I kept saying, check out Nashville, because I spent a lot of time down there, but he felt like, Austin had the pull for him. So he's crushing it. He's playing out like constantly and just digging it. So Nashville had that same effect on you. You felt like that was home for you.
Yeah, and I think it was I had to, I cut my teeth in Texas, so Austin, I played Austin quite a bit, and I didn't play Nashville as much.
Right.
So when I came up here, I think there was a different allure to it. So because it was further away, it's kind of one of those things, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So you said you've been accepted, and that's, when I first started going down here, it's like, I heard all this rumble and rabble about you out-of-towners, man. You don't get to participate until you live here for like 5 years. Then people slowly come on. And I had a different experience because I kind of developed a whole musical family from New Jersey and going back and forth. But tell me about your experience. Like, you said it's been a relatively positive experience for you, right?
It has, and it was kind of that's a deciding factor. I feel like people come here and they're like, oh man, if it doesn't work out in like 6 to 8 months, I'm going back. And I'm like, man, that's a short amount of time as far as a career span goes. Like,
Yeah.
uh, but my first week here, I got in on probably a Sunday night, and I played a writer's round on a Tuesday. And
Wow.
it was at like 1:30 in the morning, I think I finally got up to play, and the response was so positive, and they booked me back on a book slot, like a book, you play the open mic section, and then if they think you're good enough, you get to come back and play the booked writers section. And so my first night in, I got that booked writer spot, and that was kind of one of those things. And my dad was with me that night, just trying to get me settled in and stuff. And it was ever since then, it's been like a very similar response. It's been very nice. People have been very open to what I do, and it's nice because I feel a lot of people in our industry they seem to get very threatened by you, and it's weird. Like it becomes like an ego measuring contest sometimes, and it's been nice to just be really received. Because I'm not competitive, I just love what I do, so I don't see the point in that. But it's always been nice to be received in a way that's like, oh, we're like, I built a family out of music up here. It's been really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's all about. You're right. And, for what you said earlier, to just rewind a little bit about, somebody saying, hey, if I don't do X in 6 to 8 months, I'm out of here. It's like, well, where do you go anywhere that you can get like traction in I mean, you got to spend years. And I always say to people that, you have to do this for the right reasons too. It's like it shouldn't be all about being tops of the pops or whatever, the charts and all that. That's great if you have that kind of success. But, if the passion isn't there and the drive and the reward being first and foremost what's in your heart, then you're probably in the wrong type of business or artistic field.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it. This is the one. There's no formula to this career. You just have to keep sustaining and keep doing it. And I think people think they're like, oh man, I got this time limit. I think I can do it. I was like, man, you don't know what's gonna happen. Like, you could blow out your voice. You might need to take a week off. Like, stuff happens, man. It's a full-time job, and you got to keep this and your heart in the right place. It all ties together, and I think the main point is just like, if you want to do this, like me, I was like, people ask me, they're like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I was like, still playing music.
Yeah,
It's like, I want to do it. I want to do it till I die, man. I got no like big projection of like, I'm gonna have 3 Grammys on my shelf. I'm like, oh, that's a trophy, man. You could melt it down and turn it into a pendant, and it would still be a Grammy. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. The most valuable asset you have is your gift of music. And I always cite B.B. King as the greatest and latest example of a man who lived, a connected life to his passion, because he literally almost played till the day he died. He was in his 80s and he got sick and came off the road, and then he was gone, like in a really, really short time.
Yeah.
And I think, for anybody out there aspiring to any kind of career, if you can do that, you're living, a charmed life. I mean, if you love what you do every single day and you get to do it, And his thing, I always laughed because it was like, it always seemed like towards the end he didn't like even care about playing chords. It's just like he's smiling, he's hitting a few riffs, and he's singing, and he's just having the time of his life. Who wouldn't like that every day, right, or every night?
Yeah, it's always great like that. You see people and they don't realize that they're just a living legend. And that's like the coolest part. And Elvis was the same way, man. He was selling out shows, but there's like so many stories of him. He was like, they caught him in back rooms praying that his voice would hold out so he could give the people a good show.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I'm like, oh, I'm the greatest that's ever lived. It's like, oh my God, I'm still 20 years old and I'm scared that my voice isn't going to hold out. It's like, it was great. Yeah. Tom Petty's another great example, man. That guy did music until he died too. I like so many great songs, so many great records. Wow.
Yeah. And they just got better in time. I know Elvis had a lot of trouble because he got so blown up that I know he was sick of those movies and everything, and I think it pulled away from his artistic, gifts a little bit, because he was just doing it because all of a sudden you have all these responsibilities. Everybody's, tugging at you and pulling at you, and you got to do it for this, and you got to do it for all these people that you now hire, so there's a guilt thing that happens. Hey, you know what? Let's start and give everybody a little bit of slice of what Jeremy's all about. We'll start with this first one is Making Things Up As I Go. What a great title. So how did you come up with the title for this one? What happened here?
I was I made this whole record. The title of the record's called Things I Need to Say, and there was a lot, life happens is the easiest way to put it, the condensed version. And this was one of those things. I was writing a lot of really like dark and sad songs, and I was home visiting my dad, and he goes, "Man, a lot of the songs you're making for this record are really, really morbid." And I'm like, "Thanks, what?" And I was like, I need to write something that's like factual, but kind of like more lighthearted. And, I feel like you wake up in the morning, you drink your coffee or whatever you do in the morning, and you start your day, and it's taking it, one step at a time. And I know that's how I do it. Like I don't know, where I'm going to be at until I wake up. So we're just all making it up as we go. Like right. It's just a, second to second thing. And I think it's a good way to look at life.
And here we go, making things up as I go.
One foot on the floor, planted in the day. I step out my front door, and I hope it goes my way. And if it doesn't, well then there's nothing I could have done. Ain't nothing I can do but take it as it comes. So I'm making things up as I go, off the cuff and so out of my control. I learn more the more that I move further through this life. Whoa, don't you know? We're all just making it up as we go. Drifting through this life, every breath is something new. Why we sit and wonder why these questions go unanswered like they do. Well, we don't get to know what we don't need to know. So I go my own way, make it all up as I go. Yeah, I'm making things up as I go, off the cuff and so out of my control. I learn more the more that I move further through this life. Whoa, don't you know? We're all just making it up as we go. Yeah. Making things up as I go, off the cuff and so out of my control. I learn more the more that I move further through this life. Whoa, don't you know? We're all just making it up. We're all just making it up. We're all just making it up as
making it up as I go, making things up as I go. So, that just so reminds me of the big prairies in Texas. So tell us about the songs. It's got a great vibe and feel to it.
Well, like I said, I wrote it in Texas. So when we were making the record, we had a lot of really cool slide parts, and we were going over what we wanted on different songs, and this one just had that like dun 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 perfect space for fiddle, like bring it back home to like, because I grew up listening to Bob Wills and a lot of Western swing. My dad was real into it, so I think music is about like when you make a record, it's gotta like have little traces and breadcrumbs of your inspiration on it. Like it shows you who you are as an artist, where you come from as an artist, who inspired you. And fiddle was a big part. Like I grew up listening to George Strait and Bob Wills and all those guys, so it kind of just had to be there,
Yeah. Do you remember the writing process of how you, like, what came first? Were you like riffing on a guitar, or like, you said that riff came from somewhere. Did it originate like on a fiddle, or did you just have like a basic structure first and then add that in? Like, how did the whole musical piece come together?
I feel like it's when I write, I think a lot of people, I assume that a lot of people, the music comes with the song a lot of the times, and I feel like there's a perfect space that I leave when I'm writing for the production of things. Like if it's a slide part or a fiddle part, like with me, like when I play that acoustic, I kind of come in with a rhythmic strum on the heavy E string, which was where the fiddle would end up. So it's like,
right.
So it's, it all just kind of falls into place. And, you got to give, I have to give credit to my producer, Michael Flanders. He's really, you find those people that you really mesh with. It's like you almost don't even have to speak. You're just sitting there having a conversation without talking in the studio.
Yeah.
And they just get it. So he props to him on just getting it, and I super appreciate it.
Awesome. Where's Michael from?
He is originally from Australia.
Oh, okay.
But he now lives in Nashville as well, and has made a living here for maybe 15, 20 years now, I guess. I don't want to overshoot his age or anything there, but like, yeah, he's been busting it in town a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. How did you guys hook up? Did he see you gigging, or you just guys, somebody connected you, or?
Yeah, it's one of those crazy things. You just cross paths. I think my buddy, who's a photographer and he's done both of my music videos and does all my photo shoots. His name is PJ Schenkel for Three Hat Media here in town. He was doing a photo shoot with these kids who were in this like, I guess it'd be like alternative rock band, and Michael's son, Ben, who is also a phenomenal producer and guitar player. He plays for Scott Stapp of Creed. Right now on the road. Yeah, he's killing it. But my buddy was doing a photo shoot for that band, and his son was the guitar player for the band. And so we just all kind of like became friends and crossed paths, and he and I had similar music tastes, and it turned into a record that I really love.
Yeah.
So just one of those cool Nashville stories, yeah.
Yeah, did you you did a lot of touring, so are you presently like gigging right now, or are you in the studio, or where are you right now in your everyday thing? What's going on with that?
I'm currently in town most of the time right now. I'm doing some shows, as many as I can, but I kind of I'm staying close because I've gotten really into helping my friends write for their records, which has been like a really big honor and stuff. And it's like, you never know if they're going to cut a song or not, but I've just been scheduling co-writes, and I play downtown on the weekend to keep my chops up.
Yeah.
And while also writing for my next record, which is, that's the constant struggle. Cause for my records, I usually write a lot, by myself, cause it's very like introspective. Within myself, like whatever's happening in my life or what I'm feeling, empathy wise. So it's been busy with writing and like I said, playing on the weekends but I really miss being out on the road, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna get back into it real soon because I miss it.
Yeah, I saw in your bio you did some touring in Europe too. How was that experience?
That is the best, man. If I could
Yeah.
go back every month, I totally would. I can't say that. I mean, you have great crowds. You know, it's hit or miss wherever you go. But Europe is one of those things. They just stand there in between songs. They stare at you, listen to you talk. As soon as you start playing, they're right back to dancing.
Yeah.
Like it's the coolest thing ever. It's a listening room, but it's like a sold out crowd. It's like, you know, an intimate setting in a big room. And
Yeah.
you usually don't usually get that here. I mean, not to say that it doesn't happen or like, you know, to talk smack about stuff, but people are so used to like shows happening everywhere here that I think it's more of a treat for them over there, and they really appreciate a specific type of music and sound.
Yeah. That's been that way for a long, long time. I mean, even artists who were like really, really big, you know, mainstream tops of everything, and then kind of they fell off after years. They would go to Europe and tour, and people would just, they don't care if they're 30-year-old bands, you know, that have had their day, but they just love whatever comes their way. And I remember Meatloaf was really, really hot, and he went off the charts for a long time, and he ended up playing in Europe all the time, and people just adored him, you know. They just like, and the Japanese, they love bands from the 50s, the 60s, it doesn't matter, they go crazy for American music. So I don't know what it is about, you know, just across the pond, you know. It's you know, it's been going on for a long time between, you know, people love American artists over here, and like we love the Brits or whatever was happening, you know, with, you know, I remember the Stray Cats, a band from Long Island. They couldn't get arrested out there, and they went to London, and all of a sudden it's like, have you heard about the Stray Cats? All those guys from Long Island, well, they're the biggest thing going right now. You know, so there's something about you can't be famous from where you live. You know, it's like you have to go somewhere else to be appreciated.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like one of those things no one really like it's like you're in your own house, your family, they don't take you seriously, but as soon as you walk out the door, everyone loves you. Like
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I wish I knew that when I was 7.
yeah, man, I would have left home way earlier.
Yeah, right. Hey, let's play another one, Jeremy. This one is Burn This House Down. Here we go.
Guess I'm gonna have to burn this house down. 'Cause honey, your leaving's killing me. We put these walls up together and they still stand tall. But every loose board on this hardwood floor screeches out of memory. And I can't go on like this, just dwelling on a used to be. I can fix these halls and patch these walls, but there's no patching up you and me. There's a memory in every single room. I can't seem to get rid of you. A two-story reminder of a love that didn't work out. I'm gonna have to burn this house down. I guess I'm gonna need to pack up a few things. Whatever don't break my heart to see. Looking around, I don't see much that's been untouched. Everything must go, pictures and clothes, and I guess I don't need this key. 'Cause I can't go on like this, just dwelling on the used to be. I can fix these halls and patch these walls, but there's no patching up you and me. There's a memory in every single room. I can't seem to get rid of you. A two-story reminder of a love that didn't work out. could have tried to pretend, say that it could have been fixed when I knew damn well that it couldn't be. With an old matchbook and a can of gas, I said goodbye to what we had. Two-story reminder of a love that didn't work out. I knew I had to burn this house down. Oh yeah, I knew I had to burn this house down. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to burn this house down.
Yeah, burn this house down. Wow, there's a story in there, Jeremy. What is going on with Burn This House Down? Great song, by the way.
So, thank you very much. It's a metaphor, just for the record. There's no houses were harmed in the making of that song.
Okay, I'm relieved.
it was about my parents were going through a nasty divorce after like almost 50 years of marriage. So it was
Wow.
really intense and unexpected. And so the first time I ever went home, and I grew up in the same house. I grew up in San Antonio. It's a military town, but I was one of the only kids that like stayed rooted in the same spot. And you grow up in a place and it's so familiar and comfortable. And then I remember walking back through the door the first time that or after the split had occurred, and it was just so unfamiliar and cold. And I process things in a way that I can't really verbally express sometimes, but music has always been there for me as my way to vent, and it's my therapy, so to speak. And I was able to put into words what I needed to do to move on past that. Yeah, so I use music as my therapy, and this was a perfect way I found the words by writing this song of like how to deal with something that is just so heavy, and it is what it is. I couldn't do anything about it. Like, it was a divorce is a divorce and it was final, but I wanted to find a way to say that something had changed, and I didn't know how to deal with that. So metaphorically, it's I burn the house down. You're burning memories, and we've heard that in songs before. But this is a way of going like, oh, I can start fresh from the ashes of this burning house metaphor.
Right.
Like this is a new place because so much has changed inside of it.
Yeah. Those are really challenging struggles. How old were you when this happened?
Oh man, this was like, I was in my mid to late 20s, so it's like, I mean, I'm 30 now, so it's been over the past like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Like I wrote the record around the whole experience, and the what I was saying earlier about my dad being like, oh man, you're writing a lot of morbid songs for this record. It was around that time, and so it was a big emotional shift for me as a person. I had to like kind of reanalyze a lot of things, and so it was a perfect time to be making a record, because a lot of people have been able to connect with it because of that. Because we like I said, life happens. So.
Right. Are you writing EPs, Jeremy? Are you writing full length albums? Like, what's your go-to strategy?
I think I let an idea find me, and when I'm ready to make another record, I line up a bunch of songs, and thematically, if there's like 5 that fit perfectly into, or between, an EP is approximately like 4 to 8, 9 songs, and then an LP would be more than that. I kind of just let the music speak to me that sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, right.
If the storyline requires more songs, it'll be a full length record. But if thematically, if it's there in 5 songs and it's an EP, you can always putting out new music. I think is the important thing. Like having stuff where people could be like, oh, I see he's grown as a writer. I see he's grown as a person. I see he's in a better place now. It's, yeah, it's cool. It's
true.
about the journey.
Yeah, it's so true, because you could never be the person you are now without, the preceding work that followed your whole journey, and it's just building blocks. It's one after another, and you can't get up here without going through, the lower processes of just figuring out who you are, becoming a better singer, a better songwriter, and I'm all about like being the best you can be on every level with everything you do, and so everything kind of grows at the same time, like vocals and writing and assessment of arrangements, like just your thought process like starts to break out, and you become more and more of who you are. And that journey is just priceless in my mind. It's just fabulous to have that, and to think you're never going to get there, and that's the beauty of it. You don't want to arrive somewhere. You want to keep going,
Yeah, it's like you want to just stay in the elevator and just keep going up or whatever. What am I going to see next week? This is cool, man. The skyline is limitless. Yeah, there's highs and lows too, but that's the beauty of it. One thing in talking about this, it brings up something that I like to talk about, because there's a lot of fans who get mad at a lot of artists. They're like, oh man, he's not writing like college and drinking songs anymore. I was like, yeah, he's 40 years old, man. He's got like 3 kids now. He can't do that anymore. And people be like, I miss those days. And I'm like, you can still go back and listen to the old records. What's wrong with
That's very true. That's very true.
I mean, as artists, I think we get it more because we want to see the growth. We want to see that change. It's like, people like want to see people want to keep hearing people that were in like musical puberty, so to speak. They want them to stay that way. I was like, what happened to that angst? I was like, well, I got old and happier. I'm sorry.
Old and happier. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, let's talk about just a little bit about social media. What are your favorite jams? I see you're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Anything in particular that you prefer, that's kind to you and good to you, that you feel well connected to, that you could share with us?
As far as the social media platforms?
Yeah.
Instagram is my favorite. I think the setup is so easy to use, and if I love posting like positive vibe stuff on there and everything, like goofy cat pictures.
Right.
So that's probably the best place to find me, and there's a link to all that stuff at my website, jeremyparsonsmusic.com.
Yeah. I've been asking this question for 3 years now, since I started this show. And hands down, Instagram is the musician's bomb. I mean, it's like, not one person that I've had on here said, people will say they have a favorite, but Instagram is always like the leader for artistic endeavors, it seems. That just has the right platform for some reason.
Yeah, I think it's that perfect attention grabbing, like square frame setup that really like gets it. But I mean, and also too, because Facebook and Twitter seem like, it could be like kind of a, not to get into it, but like toxic place, because there's so much drama on them both.
Yeah.
Not that it's not on Instagram, but like it seems like Instagram is more of like a billboard for people who have stuff to advertise.
Yeah. And this is what I have. You like me? Great. If you don't, that's cool. So it's there's no time for the whole political whatever mess that's going on. Hey, tell me about your guitar playing. As far as your performances, are you a lead guitar player? You play electric and acoustic, I noticed. And just give me some of your influences that brought you to craft and design the person who you are today.
Man, I really like, I grew up listening to guys like Merle Travis and Chet Atkins. I'm nowhere near that level of playing, but like I really like how they left like in a lot of open room for picking and stuff, and it was a lot of like just really note for note expressive stuff. And I really love like Ryan Adams and the Jason Isbell's like slide playing, and like a little bit of that, like it's chicken picking mixed with grunge, like a little bit. And like I mentioned Tom Petty earlier, man, that dude is like, I mean, right there at the center of my soul when it comes to that.
Talk about orchestrated guitars, the way to do them properly, and just have that balance of, a Les Paul dirty sound on one side and that clean Rickenbacker on the other. It's just a melding of beauty, it's just amazing.
it's one of those, say, we're talking about music and just getting it. Like it was emotionally perfect. Like everything that came through, like to your ears, was just like, what just happened? That was so cool. Like it wasn't even like the most like ripping guitar solo ever. It was just like, it just made you feel things, and that's I like that a lot. Like it's and I don't play lead out a lot because I'm usually doing acoustic rhythm, but I'm definitely getting into it more these days. That's something you kind of have to like get over yourself about, because there's so many good lead players.
Yeah.
But like I think everyone who's got a personality, like no one plays guitar like you play guitar.
Right.
You know, and I think that's important to remember. Like, so it's, you know, when people hear, your fingers have a voice too.
That's true. That's true. That personality shines through. And it's like, you know, what you said about guitar playing also applies to songwriting and singing too, because there's always room for another good song and another good artist. You know, as many as we have, you know, we'll make room on the shelf. You know, people will just say, yeah, I just love the way this guy does X, whether it's singing, his writing, or this woman plays guitar or whatever. So I'm with you on that. I mean, it's like, you know, just shine your art forth. You know, let us see what you got, you know.
Absolutely,
Speaking of what we got, how about, this is a cool title. Why is the Bluebird blue? I think we got to play that one, and then we're going to talk about it.
Look out my window, what do I see? A little bluebird looking back at me. He sings a song all alone in his nest, and I wonder if he's singing about loneliness. I open my window and take it all in as I listen to a number by my new blue friend. Is he looking for a lover, or did one just leave? Does he really feel blue, or does his color deceive? Tell me, why is the bluebird blue? Is the song he sings a somber tune? Does he feel like I feel since I lost you? Tell me, why is the bluebird blue? Hummingbird don't hang around too long. A mockingbird makes a living off of other bird songs. And I heard somewhere that a robin weeps, but the bluebird is still one that I can't read. Tell me, why is the bluebird blue? Is the song he sings a somber tune? Does he feel like I feel since I lost you? Tell me, why is the bluebird blue? Yes, spring is out and there's love in the air, and I know that I've got plenty to share. The bluebird's blueing, but it's so in my hand. I feel about as low as the bluebird flies. Tell me, why is the bluebird blue? Is the song he sings a somber tune? Does he feel like I feel since I lost you? Tell me, why is the bluebird, why is the bluebird blue? Is the song he sings a somber tune? Does he feel like I feel since I lost you? Tell me, why is the bluebird blue? Yeah, baby, why is the bluebird blue? Tell me, why is the bluebird blue?
Yes, for those of you who are podcast fans, that was the video. But I didn't know it. I didn't realize. I thought there was 2 titles of Bluebirds here, but we're going to rally. We always have another method to get more juice out of our artists. Right back to the interview with Jeremy after this word.
Have you connected with your gratitude today? I think I have something that will help inspire you. It's the brand new release from James Kevin O'Connor, Gratitude, recorded on Music Row in Nashville, Tennessee with producer Kim Copeland and team, is James' third full-length album in 4 years. 10 amazing songs, each one a different story about the emotions, journeys and experiences that you and I have lived. Songs like Dreamer, Jesus Teaches, Tango On, and 51 Shades of Grey, and of course, the title track, Gratitude. Pick up the brand new CD today with amazing artwork and photography at iTunes, CD Baby, and Amazon. Or simply go to jameskevinoconnor.com for your download right now. Send someone that you love a copy of Gratitude today. It might be exactly what they need in their life right now. Gratitude, the new release by James Kevin O'Connor.
All right, so tell us, I'm telling you, that was awesome. Why is the bird blue? Why is the Bluebird blue? Good title, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of those it's never really answered in the song, and a lot of people are like, why is the Bluebird blue? I'm like, it's some chlorophyll thing, you got to Google it, but if you want the actual scientific answer. But in this song, particularly, it is one of those Shakespearean, what light through yonder window breaks type of questions. It's a man, the song is about a person seeking, he is lonesome, he is blue, and he's trying to find that in something else, and this bluebird just happens upon his windowsill. And he's thinking, oh, maybe this guy's feeling like I'm feeling too.
Yeah.
So, it's like we all get, and that title came from people like, oh man, I bet you there's a really crazy heavy backstory behind this. I was like, it's thematically along the lines of the whole record, but this idea came from the guy that I mentioned earlier who actually filmed the music video. We were sitting on his porch and I was playing guitar, and he goes, Jeremy, look at that bluebird over there. And I'm like, dude, that's a blue jay. Come on. Then my dad's a big he loves studying birds, or ornithology as they call it. Is I love throwing that word around. It's probably one of the fanciest words I know.
Yeah, right. Ornithology. I love that.
Yeah, it's a good one. I was like, it's and that song, the last verse, I like to joke on stage. I was like, this is actually ornithologically accurate because a bluebird is a low flying bird, and I got to use it to say it's I'm about as low as a bluebird flies. So it was fun. I had to call my dad for that one, be like, hey, is a bluebird a low flying bird? He's like, absolutely. I was like, perfect.
Awesome. Hey, tell me about your setup on stage. When you're out performing, what is the band that you go with? If you're not playing solo, do you have multiple different setups, or do you go with one set of guys, or how does it work for you?
I usually have the same set of guys, and it'll be either if it's just not me solo acoustic, I like to have my more intimate setting is no drums, because it's just it can be a lot of noise sometimes.
Yeah, right.
No offense to drummers, y'all are great.
Right.
I like to have my producer who plays multiple stringed instruments. He brings his steel guitar, and he's really good at slide. He's got this telly that he set up with a slide pickup in it.
Yeah.
And it's just so grungy and really emotionally perfect. And then I have a bass player with me, and then I'll do some acoustic noodling and stuff. And it really gives the crowd that especially if we're just going to be opening.
Yeah.
If they want a big noise, then we'll bring in a drummer. And the guy that I like to play with me, he played on the first Counting Crows record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's so good at filling he just fills this space that I leave with the way that I sing and play.
Yeah.
So he's just right there with me, these really nice cymbal shimmers and grooves, and it's so good. But my favorite setup is just the strip bass player and slide in the background, just for the really good. I feel that that's where I land. Emotionally, I feel more emotionally comfortable in that pocket.
As a guitar player, who influenced you, like, to start? You gave me a couple of your heroes early, but, like, were you, like, in grade school, or were you in, like kindergarten? Like, when did you start with music? How did you originally get connected?
I think so I was adopted by my grandparents, and my dad was he was in agriculture a lot, and he traveled, and he loved listening to the radio, loved listening to music, and he ended up getting on a country station as like their ag reporter type guy when I was very young. So he would take me with him on the weekends, and it became one of those things where music was kind of just all around me, and he loved to go to shows. And because he was at a country station, he would get a lot of free tickets.
Right.
So I would get to go to these concerts, and I guess we were going a lot. And when I was like 8 or 9, I mean, I guess a lot of kids, like parents, try to be like, oh, maybe, he's always outside. Maybe we could find him a different hobby. And they bought me this cheap guitar and tried to get me lessons. But, like, my attention span was just like, I'm not sitting down for 30 minutes. Like,
right.
So it wasn't until I was in high school and my friends were doing a lot of nefarious activities. We know what people do when they're in high school. And I guess I had older siblings who had just been so reckless, and I wanted to give my parents a little bit of a break.
Right.
So I was like, I need to find something to do that's not drugs or, every girl in my high school. So I went home, and the guitar was just in my closet, and I was like, I could probably, acclimate some of my time. And I don't know what happened. I remember I was 17, and I remember being 18 and just being way better at guitar because I had just blacked out and gotten really into it.
Yeah.
It just, the bug bit me. And it was later than most people, but it was enough to, I mean, here we are like 13 years later. And I when I was 18, I guess I played my first open mic in Texas, and then everyone took to it, and I just kept doing it. And we played in Austin and traveled as much as we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I opened up for George Jones in Houston in November of 2008, and then moved to Nashville in 2009.
That's amazing. Wow,
yeah.
That's really fabulous. George Jones, man. Hey, be DJ for me, okay, and pick out another song. We're going to play one more before we say goodbye. So what would you prefer? Hope, Circumstance, Devil's Daughter, Lisa's Lost? What do you want to hear? What do you want to play for people?
Yeah, I would be good with Hope.
That's the one I was going to pick. So
okay, cool.
I tell you, we're brilliant minds think alike. So here we go with Hope.
I never planned on running into you, so here I am, thrown off by a beautiful truth. I didn't see you coming, so I couldn't plant my feet. And now my heart's doing something to an old familiar beat. This man is strong, but this man's been struck down hard, trying to hold on, trying to keep up my guard. I tell myself that it's too soon, but there's really no defense. I hate to place the blame, but it's your fault I feel like this. Stop being so damn perfect. Stop being so damn kind. I'll give you the time you need with the hope that you'll be mine. I never thought I'd have to think it through like this. Didn't put up walls just to No, I ain't angry, it's you, darling. It's quite the opposite, in fact. I'm just scared of losing something I guess I never really had. But you can't help being so damn perfect. You can't help being so damn kind. Yeah, I'll give you the time you need with the hope that you'll be mine. Yeah, I'll give you the time you need, even if you won't be mine.
Yeah, so we're having a few challenges here. The Munchkins are in the pipe, but Jeremy, tell us about Hope. What was the story behind that, and why did you write it?
So this one is actually, I love telling this story because, like I said earlier, my dad was like, "Oh, a lot of these songs are pretty dark, a lot of these songs are pretty dark, Jeremy." And my producer, at one point, we were in the studio, he said the exact same thing. And I was like, what is the deal with everybody? Can I not just be expressive? Of course, just joking. And he was like, we could probably get a love song on here somewhere. And I was like, Mike, I'm kind of trying to figure love out again, man. You got to give me some time. My definition of love was kind of shattered like a really cheap picture frame.
Yeah. This is Michael Flanders? You're talking?
Yeah, Michael Flanders,
okay.
My producer.
Right.
And so I went home, and the hope comes from, it's kind of like a love song that I was forced to write.
Yeah,
so it was like,
right.
So it's got this message of, and it turned out really good. I actually really like the song. It's a album favorite. A lot of people want it to be the next single, and I'm in the process of maybe thinking about that too. I'm in between hope and making things up as I go between you and I. It's like it's tough to pick because I'm so personally connected with the whole record. But yeah, this one, it was like one of those things where I was in and out of relationships a lot at the time, so I didn't really have a good example of it myself. So it was just, I took a friend's relationship, and he was like, he was trying, it was almost like he was trying to be in a relationship, but like he wanted to find some reason to get out of it. He was like, man, if she just wasn't so dang perfect, it would be easy to dump her. And I was like, stealing that. Yeah. So the chorus is like, it's like, stop being so damn perfect, stop being so damn kind. It's like got this like, how dare you be so great, I can't even break up with you type of thing. So it turned into this really lighthearted jam, and it's been received really well, considering like where it came from as a song,
Yeah, awesome, man. Great music. Just winding down here, I think it's really awesome to have somebody like you to give people, food for thought about the different things, you've been through, and how you're taking your career, and the way you think about your career is really important too, because you don't put it out there as, if I don't get this, then the world falls apart. You're just enjoying the ride, man, which I just love to see. So in parting, Jeremy, thanks so much. Any last parting words for the fan base out there? We're going to put all your socials in the show notes so people will have access to them. But anything you want to say to the people now in 71 countries all over the world listening to this broadcast?
Dang, that's awesome. First off, I want to say thank you to you for doing this and all that you do. This is awesome. And, thanks for everyone for listening and, like, hanging in there with us. And I think it's important. Like, I love what I do, and I do what I love. And I hope everyone out there has something like that, or finds something like that in their life, because I think it keeps you young, it keeps you healthy, it feeds your soul. And I think I hope that for everyone, that they can find something like that, because it gets me through every day.
Jeremy Parsons, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy, it was a pleasure. I just want to wish you all the luck and success in the world on your journey, and thank you for being a part of the Dharmic Evolution.
Thank you so much.
Making things up as I go. Burn this house down. and the video, Why is the Bluebird Blue? And the bonus rally round, Hope. I hope you guys enjoyed this visit with Jeremy Parsons, a total creative master. Following his journey, he's being led. And isn't that the best way to do it? Check out Jeremy on his website, jeremyparsonsmusic.com. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes. He's everywhere. The most ubiquitous Jeremy Parsons. Hey, if you guys have not taken advantage yet of the Dharmic Evolution Facebook community page, please go over there. You can post your content. If you've got a new song, a new album, a new video, if you've got a gig, a tour, anything going on, maybe a new photo shoot, or you just want to support another artist, we welcome you with open arms. We're growing like wildfire. Come on over to the Dharmic Evolution Facebook community page. Show your support for indie music worldwide. And again, thank you, Singaporeans, for making us top of the pile. Man, number one in all categories today in Singapore, and of course, number one in music and iTunes in the US and a bunch of others. Thank you so much for the support. It means the world. And if you find it in your heart, please subscribe, rate, and review this show in iTunes. And also stop by the Dharmic Evolution website and dharmicevolution.com, and please post a comment about this show, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see more of. We're specifically singer-songwriters and authors, speakers, and thought leaders, and every so often we throw in some coaching and some things that have value bombs for you folks out there who are on the creative front lines. That's why we do these things. So if you guys have some suggestions, if you'd like to weigh in and tell us how we're doing on the show, we'd love to hear from you. If you're a singer-songwriter, author, speaker, thought leader, I want you. Yes, you. Go over to dharmicevolution.com, go to the guest tab, fill out your assets, drop it in, and we'll see if we can get you scheduled on the show. Would you like to visit 71 countries? The new country of the week is Lao, Democratic People's Republic. I love it. Okay, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's it for me today. I'm your host for the Dharmic Evolution, James Kevin O'Connor, singer-songwriter, audio-video artist, master storyteller, and international talent agent. So until the next time when we meet again, I'll either see you on the socials or I'll see you from the stage.